Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing as the Knicks get back to winning ways at the Mecca, pulling off a wire-to-wire victory, man, 123 to 113. Boy, man, this game was eventful as we held our breath late with Jalen Brunson turning his ankle. Prayers up, first and foremost. We have to start the show with feel-good vibes because, man, it did not look good, but Brunson was able to walk off the court, and we wait for further news as the Knicks now go 33 and 18 on the season. Let's get ready to break this thing down with the best chat in the biz, giving out grades tonight as DiVincenzo helped close it out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the post-game live with CT. Hope you're doing well, fam, and I'm glad you could join us as we, talk about this game. The Knicks let slip what was a huge lead. The Memphis Grizzlies, the Memphis Hustle, first and foremost, missing 10 players at least. The Grizz were set to get smoked, right? They were getting smoked all game, with the Knicks up by about 20, 25 most of the game. However, they went on an 18-1 run early in the fourth, right? And this game got very interesting. The Memphis Grizzlies cut it to 4 points off the back of crazy three-point shooting. They could not miss. And the Knicks were coasting. Obviously, this game was always going to end up a win. But, man, it definitely comes at a price. Comes at a huge cost now as we wait to see and we await the news of Jalen Brunson turning his ankle. Again, it looked bad. It looked worse, hopefully, than what it is going to be. He walked off the court, which is a good sign. That's always a good sign. However, no injury at all is good, and he's probably going to, set, to miss some, kind of time as we wait to see, right? It was a huge ankle turn. We'll bring up the video later, but yeah, you guys probably saw it already. But DiVincenzo, you see, hit him that huge three to bring it back to 7. It was 4 points, and DiVincenzo closed it out, finished with 30 points. The Knicks had 6 players in double figures, right? It was a feel-good game up until that point, early in the fourth. The ball was moving. They were sharing the rock. The Knicks were shooting incredibly well as well from the field. Weren't shooting a high volume in terms of threes, but the Knicks were getting whatever they wanted throughout most of the game. As you see the score after the third quarter, it was 97-74, man. But somehow the Memphis G League team cut it to 4 points, right? The Knicks were coasting. We've got plenty to talk about. We've got the trade deadline buzzing a few days away, right? Or less than 2 days away as we sit here now. And the Knicks are obviously going to need help, right? Even before tonight, we had a huge conversation to be had tonight, and no doubt we will, fam. But we'll break this thing down, give out the grades. And of course, as always, man, shout out the chat. Buzzer Beater, Will, and Daniel in the building. How are we feeling, ladies and gentlemen? A win comes at a cost, right? I don't really care about how we won this one. We just needed to win, fam. That was what was the most important thing. And now we wait, right? We wait with bated breath, to see how Brunson is. Hopefully we get the x-ray soon. I'm going to continue to refresh, right? But these are the things that happen, man. When you break the wins down after the buzzer and we go live, we're basically waiting for the news. Will says we're becoming Monty Python sketch where all the guys' limbs are getting cut off. Man, Will, such a tough situation to see Brunson go down like that, man. And that was, mid-fourth quarter, and the Memphis Grizzlies were already making their run. For those that haven't checked it, the Memphis Grizzlies didn't make their run just because Brunson went down. They were already, closing at, I think it was maybe 9 or 7 when Brunson went down. They cut it to 4. DiVincenzo, couple of buckets. Precious Achiuwa, great performance tonight. We'll talk about Precious. He had a nice tip in, which helped the Knicks close it out as well. Right? But yeah, on a night it was supposed to be nothing but feel good vibes. Unfortunately, I wish I could be saying otherwise, Knicks fan, but it ain't that yet. We wait to see. But we celebrated the 25th anniversary of Walt Clyde Frazier and Mike Breen on the call. And I will say some words on that today as well, after we've given out the grades and broken this thing down, talked about the trade deadline coming up. There's a lot to chop up, right? The Knicks, are still in discussions with many teams, right? No one knows what the heck's really going on, right? If someone claims that they know what's going to happen, they're lying to you, because the Knicks do keep things close to their chest, like they did with the OG Anunoby trade, and basically since Leon Rose has been here, right? There's been some leaks, but yeah, I'll talk about what I think is going to happen. I'll predict that the Knicks will make a move, no doubt about it now, as we wait again. Welcome in everyone who's just joining in the chat. The Knicks picked up a comfortable win, which was late, but it got too close for comfort. 4 points, and thankfully we have some guys that hit some shots. Deuce McBride played very well today, hit shots as well. But again, we're going to need some reinforcements at the shot creation, scoring wise, too, fam. As we get ready to break this thing down and go through the numbers, man. Look at the Grizzlies team. First, I just got to tip my cap to them, because they just played hard, right? They played out of their skin. Those guys, 56% from three, right, on high volume. I mean, that just goes to show, when you've got, don't matter if you're a G League or a what, if you've got skills and you get an opportunity and you don't really care about the result, you can just chuck. You can play freely, and play with your teammates. You can play hot. 56% from three. We needed to play better defense, but it's kind of a fool's gold, because the Knicks were coasting, throughout the most of the game, right? But the Knicks shot 40% of their own, right? Thank God. If we did not shoot well, this game could have been closer. Obviously we need to put things in perspective as well, that the Knicks are short-handed as well, right? With no Sims tonight. Taj Gibson needed to step into his spot. We already got Precious and Hart stepping in for OG and for Randall. And we got no Grimes as well, who, news is coming out that looks like Grimes is going to sit until, after All-Star break as well, man. So, yeah, man, strap yourself in. It's going to be a crazy next 48 hours. And no doubt, the Knicks will probably make a move or two and look at the buyout market as well. What's good, Shokan, Old Head, CC David, and Old Head says we need to trade for DeJounte. We can't have Deuce starting if Brunson is out. You beat me to it, man, but I didn't even want to go that far and start thinking about, a world with Brunson out completely. Then we're really, bare bones, man. Malachi Flynn did step up and look decent tonight. But yeah, Deuce starting with Dallas coming into the Mecca, Indiana as well. Yeah, I don't even want to think about that, man. But prayers up first and foremost. Hopefully Bronny's good. Shokan says Bronny and Hart got hurt as well. Yeah, I didn't see the full extent of the Hart thing. Yeah, so let us know. CC says we are going to need the ball handler / playmaker. Yeah, you said it. Absolutely. I think even before tonight, I think the Knicks are honing in on a couple guys. They appear to be all in on a Bruce Brown situation. Maybe as not as the permanent solution. Maybe they're looking at other things as well. But Bruce Brown could be more of a secondary, third playmaker, not the first. We definitely need someone more steady. Yeah, with the ball, man. As David says, we're really worried about Brunson. Yeah, you said it. I think we're all waiting, and we're all going to continue to refresh. But no news is good news for now. We have to wait and see. But the Knicks, 28 assists, again, unselfish play. I mean, they really did play close to a complete 48 minutes. Taking into account, you can't exactly get motivated, playing against a team that you should win even with your eyes closed. But you still got to be a professional. They say this was a professional win, etc. Well, this was gonna be a professional win, and then it got messy, it got ugly, and that's what can happen with a 3-point ball. I mean, this team would have beaten Detroit, that's for sure. They would have beaten probably Charlotte, Portland. They were shooting that well. So once again, I tip my cap to the Memphis Hustle. But we've got a lot of good stories to come out of this game, as well as the unfortunate late. The steals, 11 steals was good. Yeah, once again, 123 points. We held them to 113, even though they shot a ridiculous, 57%, from three, which is, once again, that's just crazy, right? That's just like a bunch of 3-point shooters just shooting for fun. But yeah, Precious Achiuwa, 17 points, huge minutes. Once again, guys, another reason why we need some help. We don't necessarily need these guys playing that much, even though they are playing well. Hart, 37 minutes. Like Shokan said, he might be banged up. Isaiah's dealing with, a hampering Achilles soreness. He was 35 minutes. Tonight he was 7 of 8. Absolutely brilliant once again. 4 offensive boards, 8 total. Another 17 piece for iHeart. JB, of course, will take the game ball despite only playing 31 minutes. Right. I was, going to come on here and talk about that as a talking point, that tonight, Brunson plays low minutes, comfortable win, all of that, man. We throw that out the window now as we wait to see. But yeah, Brunson was back to his, continues his brilliant best, 11 of 21. Although he was a -3, which is kind of insane. Although, yeah, 31 minutes, the Grizz were making their run, right? But 8 assists, so a brilliant floor game from Brunson. But the Robin / sometimes Batman, Donte DiVincenzo, man, has been the MVPs to the MVP since Randall went down. 40 minutes tonight, 12 of 18, right, with 5 steals, 5 assists, 3 steals, 5 rebounds, just 2 turnovers, and a 32 piece, +9. Where would we be without the much maligned mid-level exception signing, Donte DiVincenzo? Man, 4 of 9 from 3 as well, and 4 of 5 from the free throw line, ladies and gentlemen. So, Donte DiVincenzo has just been arguably pickup of the off-season, if you put things into perspective, and the meaningfulness of what he's doing, for us, man. Yeah, CC says it. These games I hate. You play too hard against these guys and they're hungry with nothing to lose anyway. Yeah, it really is. Like, it's not a trap game, but it's kind of like you want to run up the score, and by the early fourth, late third, you sit your guys. But yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't happen as often now, fam, because of the 3-point ball. The Knicks played close to a perfect game, but Memphis shot 57% from deep. If they had shot a regular 35%, 38%, we probably could have been, we would have been up 35, and then we're sitting Brunson at that time. But sometimes the other team just shoots well, and then sometimes we do go to sleep. As Shirley says it, welcome in. Knicks is a really cardiac team. I think, as I said before, we have to preface that the Knicks are playing short-handed as ever as well, Although, we're always going to win. When you don't have Randall, OG, Grimes, Sims, and Mitch, the guys we currently have, they're not exactly world beaters coming off our bench, and we are susceptible to, allow points to get put up, Deuce, when you need Taj to play 13, Malachi playing 11, and then you need to play the big Ragu 40, Precious Achiuwa, where, all I could do is heap praise on him. But man, he ain't expect to come in to New York and play 40 minutes. Not even in his wildest dreams would Achiuwa expect to get this kind of burn. So it really is a case of we're the walking wounded right now, and we just got to survive, right? All we got to do is just survive, and thankfully, man, the All-Star break, and thank God that the trade deadline is about to come, and we get reinforcements, because we will get reinforcements, right? No doubt about it. Best believe that, right? So we give out the first grade, as we talked about, the captain, right? He's been hooping, and he gets the game ball today with his A+ performance. All that's left is some good news to end the night on the injury front. Man, I just keep going back to the fact that he was able to walk off the court. No matter how bad an ankle sprain is, if there's, ligament or, bone damage, you wouldn't be able to walk. You wouldn't not be able to walk off the court. So, is it a case of he misses a game or two? I'm just trying to stay positive right now. As I pull up Twitter as I'm, talking to you, and I'm, peeping to see if there's any kind of update. So Tibbs is saying right now, courtesy of SNY, Tibbs is saying if the hope was to not bring Brunson back into the fourth, and Tibbs says right now, he says, you read the game. I tell you guys that no lead is safe. You got to read the game. Yeah, I know. We've talked about it at length, man, for year upon year with Tibbs. The game was still on, kind of on the line still. I get it. But you could have also, realistically had trust that, DiVincenzo and Deuce could close it out, and for you. And I'm going to go as far as to say, even if we had Emmanuel Quickly on the squad, Brunson would still be in the game. So even if we had a really, really trustworthy offensive floor general, like Quickly, I think he wouldn't have probably been on the court even at that time. It still would have been Brunson. So right tonight, it's just an unfortunate situation once again. I mean, I'm still, quietly pissed about the Randall thing. I mean, late in that game, he goes up for an acrobatic layup finish over Jaime Jaquez. We didn't need that late in that game. And all because of that, the season's changed. Now that Randall has that shoulder concern late in that game, Tibbs is saying now he doesn't know anything about what's going on with JB. He says Brunson is with the medical team right now. Okay, so that's 5 minutes ago. We'll get some kind of news before the night's end, right? And so hopefully we can sleep a little better. As Joan is in the building, Michael Drake, let's get it. Michael says, please, Leon Rose, please go out and get DeJounte Murray. I'm hearing some rumors out there that the Knicks are still very much in on DeJounte Murray. I think there's a whole heap of posturing and a whole heap of no one really knows what's happening, because these guys are great at keeping it hush-hush. Yep. Nick Yak says, and our fans want us to give up 2 firsts and Grimes to bench Dante, who's balling out for Murray. Don't get it. I mean, Dante absolutely deserves his spot right now. But at the same time, DeJounte Murray, they could figure it out still. I feel like he would definitely run, some big action, off the bench, as well. But yeah, I think it's just a case of just get talent upgrade. We're at the point now where the walking wounded. I mean, OG, right? We're going to talk about OG a lot. But yeah, there's a lot more concern on my behalf than there initially was, because, OG, it's not season ending or anything like that, but it's something that's going to maybe creep up, or hang around, linger with the, the elbow tendonitis, or whatever it is, maybe some loose bone spurs in the elbow. And I said it, I was one of the first to say it. It sounded like, in all my years of watching, contact sports, it sounds like, he will need a cleanup in the off season with the arthroscope, cleanup, because it's not normal for an elbow to be inflamed like that, right? Without some kind of loose bodies in the elbow. That's just how it is, right? I don't really need to be a doctor. I've I've watched sport for 30 years, and that's just the case. Now, signs are very positive that OG is going to be able to play great ball for us, but it's something that he's going to deal with, for the rest of the season. So I think, that's something that, is enough concern in itself to go get a bona fide piece, right? And we have multiple needs right now, right? This is a very fluid situation where, okay, we had one need when OG thing crept up, then Randall went down with the shoulder, and then, there's a case of we might, now need, some other depth, right? Thankfully, we have DiVincenzo. Again, arguably the pickup of the off-season, the way he's playing, most improved. Thankfully, Precious Achua was included in this deal. And we're about to give out his grade. And also Malachi Flynn is just giving us, just another body as well. But yeah, everyone's playing on fumes. We're short-handed, and we definitely need some reinforcements, and they are going to come, right? We just need some good news on the injury front, right? And speaking of, for those that don't know, we got a mini update on Mitchell Robinson, the Block Ness monster, and that is that he's trending in the right direction. He's getting close to doing some on-court activity post All-Star break. So that's some really encouraging news. Thankfully, we get some good news today as well from the Mitchell Robinson front, is that, the rehab's going well, and it looks like he can resume on-court, some on-court stuff post All-Star break. So if I'm looking at the timeline, it does look like, if you can do some on-court stuff with a month and a half roughly, closing into the playoffs, I think, there's a great chance Mitchell Robinson can play some ball for us to start the playoffs or end the regular season as well. Kevin says, let's get Alec Burks. I think he's definitely a name that the Knicks are exploring. I think the news we're hearing that the Pistons are reluctant to trade anybody, I think that's posturing right now. And I think if we were to pony up 2 seconds, I think it could be a done deal as well. Yeah. So he's at the top of likeliness. I think that the Knicks could get somebody. Bruce Brown is also close to there at the top, too, fam. LB So Wavy says, I don't think OG coming back until the All-Star break. They're just letting him rest. Yeah, I think he's still day to day, but it's a case of, OG's a guy who, has missed time throughout his career, and it's kind of a situation that you want to be, treating it delicately as well. He's going to be a free agent as well. You don't want to risk, running him back soon, and the elbow becomes a bigger issue and heading into free agency as well. So yeah, quite a few concerns that we've got to deal with. Right now at the top of the list, as of 30 minutes ago, is Jalen Brunson's health. I mean, everything else can go out the window. If Jalen Brunson's not healthy, right, that's the season. But it doesn't look anything too serious, But if he does miss time, it's going to be concerning in terms of us, vying for the 3rd seed and the 2nd seed. As we'll do score checks, today with some action, and the Milwaukee Bucks are currently commencing up 1 point over the Phoenix Suns early in the first quarter. So we'll keep everybody up to date on that one, as the Knicks are still only within like a game of basically the 2nd seed as well. So it's kind of hard to believe. I don't blame anyone in terms of knowing what to feel right now, because, we're holding our breath literally as Brunson went down late in this game. You 100% have an argument to say that he shouldn't have been in the game. Right? For many reasons, we should have absolutely nailed the coffin of the Memphis Grizzlies. We should have been up 35-30 and had him sitting on the bench, man. Right? If we really want to, be serious as well and let this guy rest, we should have been getting Ryan Arcidiacono some minutes, and we should have been getting Malachi Flynn out there more minutes as well. They're more than capable of protecting a 10-point lead against, the Memphis G League team, right? But yeah, tonight is just frustrations, really, despite the win. But guys continue to step up, and we're going to shout out the next person, and that is Dante DiVincenzo, right? The big Ragu continues to thrive offensively. He continues to shoot well from three, and he continues to contribute all over the court with threes, with steals, with rebounds, moving well on and off the ball. Yeah, what a pickup! What a pickup that is, and thankfully we can hold our own, right, with some with some huge injuries, because DiVincenzo is a player for the long haul. 4-year deal, and he's a guy who's able to play both sides of the floor. 12 of 18, 4 of 9 from deep, 5 boards, 5 assists, and 3 steals and a block. Just 2 turnovers, had a foul, 32 points and a +9. Man, what a performance from DiVincenzo. Helped close it late, made it a 7-point game after hitting a clutch 3 to send the Knicks up 7. Our heart rate, like Shirley says, it was cardiac Knicks tonight, man. I might need to renew my subscription for some of these pills, because, man, I can't do this anymore, man. Imagine if this wasn't the G League Memphis hustle, man. But I say that, and we probably would have taken the game a little more serious. You just never know. Basketball is just such a funny game, man. It's hard to predict. But nonetheless, man, crazy stat line. And I'm going to give the big Ragu nothing but an A+, baby. Because, this thing is a loss if he doesn't help close it out, or possibly a loss. And, we're relying on the next man up, literally. It's the next man after the next man up now. Soon, Clyde and Breen are going to have to lace them up, man. But, in seriousness, I'm thankful for this man right here on the screen, because he's not just tonight, but, he's helped carry us so much, since Randall's, been down. And we talk about next man up, literally he's had to step into the next role, which is to be the secondary and sometimes even primary, ball handler and scorer as well. But he's facilitating, he's rebounding. He's so valuable. I kind of feel bad that he's only getting paid 13 mil. And Josh Hart's on 18 mil. I think you can flip that, and I'm okay with that. I think the production, Dante DiVincenzo is really playing like an $18 million guy. Josh Hart, probably more so the 13, 14 mil, guy. But they're both New York Knicks. I'm glad for it. And a huge performance, 32 points. I also want to give him a second game ball, because it helped us seal it, man. Helped us close the deal. And now, we are 22 and zip against teams below 500 still. The story of the season is that we continue to thrive. 15 games above 500, once again, bouncing back after the Laker game. But we really need to lick our wounds and see what's up with the health of some of these guys. I don't think Quentin Grimes will be back until after All-Star. I don't expect OG Anunoby to be back, although he's probably the most realistic chance of getting back, maybe against, Dallas or Indy. But with the All-Star weekend so close, who knows? And then, of course, Randall, post-All-Star break as well. Guys, continue to throw out your buzz. We're rocking right now after this win, but we're waiting for some news. Nothing on the JB front yet. We will continue to refresh and keep you updated. But we are going to be talking about, the acquisitions throughout the All-Star break and throughout the trade deadline coming up. And let me know your thoughts. David says, A Brunson, Dante, and Murray rotation would be fire. They're interchangeable. I think, yeah, for many reasons it works. At this point, I'd run to pick up Malcolm Brogdon at the airport. You know, and a DeJounte Murray deal would have me dancing on the table. You know, we need not only a scorer, but yeah, we need a dependable facilitator as well. And it helps that he's an awesome defender as well. It helps that he has a little bit of size and he can play off the bench as well. You know, there's talk that the Knicks, you know, aren't exactly running to give up Grimes in a deal. We'll see if that, you know, changes if the packages become better as well. Now, for an Alec Burks, Clarkson deal, I can understand maybe, you know, Grimes doesn't go in that deal. If it is a DeJounte Murray deal or a Malcolm Brogdon, that might be a different story. We have to wait, yeah, and see. Yeah, as Nick Yak points out too, yeah, the Grizz, yeah, once again, credit to them for shooting 55%, right? You can win a lot of ball games shooting like that. Like I said, they would have beaten Detroit. They probably would have beaten San Antonio. They might have even been able to beat a team like the New Jersey Nets or the Houston Rockets, you know, shooting like this as well. Some of these guys, you know, I know that, you know, people don't know about. You know, I follow a lot of draft gurus, and I do know a lot about G.G. Jackson. There's been a lot of there's basically a G.G. Jackson hive. You know, there's a lot of fans of his that think he's, you know, a very a bright a player with a bright future as well, and he's taken advantage of his minutes. D Cool says free Jake Toppin, Charlie Brown. I would have loved to see those guys tonight, no doubt. You know, we have some more news regarding the All-Star weekend. Is that our own Jake Toppin is going to participate in the slam dunk contest as well. So go get it, young king, following in the footsteps of his older bro as well. More Knicks representatives at the All-Star weekend. That's going to be fun. And we also have Jalen Brunson, you know, participating in the three-point contest. Well, is scheduled, you know, to be participating, you know, as the reality just hit me, you know, right there. Peace, low key, what's good? Do you think Murray trade might mess up the chemistry with Devo, though? Look, it honestly is a valid question, right? I'll always go back to this. My answer is you still do it. Talent is talent. And I think we're seen in this league like last year. And I just remembered this. You know, a lot of people don't mention it. But Emmanuel quickly went down in the playoffs last season. He missed game 4, 5, and 6 against the Miami Heat. But nobody talks about it, really. Right? So, you know, in what was a 3-game series against the Heat, right, in games 4, 5, and 6, we only won one of them. We needed to win 2 of them to force game 7. And we had arguably our second, third best scorer and you know, and best bench piece that missed those games. So you just need talent. You need as much talent as possible. Just get it any way possible. You know, get it done, because the season can literally, you know, balance on the edge of, do you have enough players in the playoffs, and is the other team more healthy than you? You know, and I don't want to go down that same road as last season, you know, and be locked into a battle with Indiana or Milwaukee or whoever it is in the playoffs, you know, and we're dealing with guys down. So yeah, the chemistry thing's a valid argument, but I put that second, and I definitely get the guy in and I figure it out. Right, Tibbs is a grown man; he can, and so are these guys. You know, they can figure it out. Also, you know, we have willing passers. You know, Jalen Brunson, 8 assists tonight. You know, for a shooting guard, DiVincenzo is an absolute beast at facilitating as well. 5 assists. Hart as well. So let's continue shouting guys out in the chat, and the next grade up. Before we do that, we have a super chat from our man 007 Angelo. Appreciate you, man. Our brother from down under, respect. Let's get it, man. Respect to you. We'll start, though, with pressing matters in case there is a Brunson update first. Ian's reporting that Devo, when asked about Brunson's injury, DiVincenzo is saying, playing with Jalen for so long, I asked him, are you good? And he said, I'm good. DiVincenzo didn't seem overly concerned about Brunson's ankle, which appeared to be sprained. Whew. That is some awesome news, fam. That is some good news. So, yeah, we know how tight those guys are. DiVincenzo asked Brunny, are you good? And he responded with, I'm good. So I'm going to take that as it's just a an ankle roll, right? And we wait for the swelling to go down, fam. So let's get it. And our next man up is going to be Isaiah Hartenstein. Man, continues to be a beast on both sides of the floor. The original guy to step up when Mitchell Robb went down, and that hasn't been forgotten, for me, right? He just continues to step up so much that some people just forget about it, and just expect him, to always be there. But Isaiah was 7 of 8, super efficient around the rim, 3 of 4 from the free throw, 8 rebounds, 4 of them offensive, right? 3 assists, continues to play make, 3 blocks, had himself a little block party tonight, 3 turnovers, 17 points, with the team high, or team second high, third high, with plus 12, right? Hart with the plus 20, Malachi Flynn in a limited role. But yeah, man, Isaiah, obviously he's not going up against, a huge body, undermanned Memphis squad. But nonetheless, man, he steps up like a warrior. Now, I'm glad he didn't have to play, more than 35. So that is one positive for tonight. We needed some guys to really make sure that this game was so locked in that we didn't need to play guys too much, despite being shorthanded. And Taj Gibson got some burn tonight. So that's looking like a good, a stroke of luck that we did sign Taj once again, to the 10-day, because Jericho Sims is ill, out with illness, tonight as well. People are speculating, could Jericho be in some kind of trade discussion? I don't think so. We haven't really heard any rumors about Jericho being in a deal, but you can't really you can't discount it. There's definitely a chance that is true, but it's not likely. I think I take their word. Illness, and I think Jericho will be good. He'll be back, right? But thankfully we have Taj once again, and these guys that step up, and yeah, Isaiah. I mean, one of the best rebounders in the league. And once again, we got some good news today about Mitchell Robinson, that he is set to resume some on-court activity after the All-Star break. So man, Mitch Rob, beast in his rehab. Salute to you, fam. Would that be a shot in the arm if we could get Mitch back? What a boost that would be, man. I'll be so happy. Because yeah, once again, the playoffs is going to be physical, man. It's going to be a battle. Especially up against the Eastern Conference dogfight that's coming up. So, yeah, we had Jalen tell Dante DiVincenzo that I'm good. So, while we wait for some more formal medical updates, we take JB for his word, fam. If he's good, he's good. Yep. Yeah, Vaughn, I agree. GG Jackson. That's the second time against us that he's played well, and definitely guys that I know around the league have been high on GG for a minute. So yeah, credit to these guys. Continue to play well. Nick Yaks has explained getting Murray to move Dante, losing Grimes 2 first, and still sign Hartenstein, OG, and Precious without going over the cap. look, I think, yeah, there's going to be some minutiae that's going to have to be taken care of. Uh, but I don't think the DeJounte Murray thing is as likely as the Bruce Brown one or the Alec Burks or the Clarkson. But you just never know. I think I'm not someone who really dives into the trade discussion so much. I mean, I still enjoy talking about it, but the way I feel is you just never know what's going to happen, and I always prefer to wait until the deadline passes. Like it's less than 48 hours away, or roughly 48 hours, and we're going to know in a matter of days. But if we know the track record of this team, that we know the kind of players they like to get, we know they're going to get somebody. I doubt it if Evan Fournier is still on this team. I think they want to do right by him. There will be 2 full years out of the rotation if they don't end up trading him. I know his option can also be picked up as well, and that still does provide the Knicks with that flexibility. So I do know that it's not a desperation move to get rid of Evan, but I think they can find some kind of deal which will allow them to still be flexible with the extension of Bruce Brown or somebody else like that, in a potential future move. And that's the main reason why I don't think it's likely that they'll do a huge acquisition, because the Knicks do like to make their moves in the summer. That's when the league generally, is open for business, and there's more players available, and draft night especially. Now that the draft night is 2 different days separate, there's going to be a lot more activity. The Knicks have potentially 2 first-round draft picks this draft if they don't make any trade. The Dallas Mavericks one looks like it'll convey, and the Knicks have their own first-round draft pick as well. So I think strap yourself in. If it's not this trade deadline in the summer, there'll be a lot of buzz about the Knicks' next move. Now, the frustrating thing is I know how close we are to really, getting out of the East. And that's why a lot of you, want the Knicks to seize this opportunity, capitalize. We can take Boston. I think we can take the Bucks. I think this year might come down to who's healthy, the most. We've seen some crazy results in the past, like the Heat, get through in the finals in the bubble, and then make the finals last season as well. They were able to survive, through some health, and I think if the Knicks got all their soldiers, we can really get out of the East. I think we can beat anybody. That's what we're waiting for. Bright future for GG, most def. Now, the next guy we're going to hit on, right, is the one, the only, Precious Achiuwa. Another guy who continues to step up in the absence of Juju, along with Josh Hart. Now, man, another stroke of good luck or good front office play is that this guy came in the OG trade. Man, he's taken his opportunities. And from what I'm hearing, the Knicks aren't as keen to get a big man acquisition because this guy is stepping up, and he's given us production. And I think the more Tibbs gains trust in you, the more chances you're going to continue to play. And as we see the box score, man, another 40-minute night. He's young, he's spry, he's healthy, he's athletic. I think Tibbs can trust playing him more. Did have a couple misses around the bucket, but 8 of 13, excellent play. Splashed a 3-pointer. That's always a good sight. 3 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 of them are offensive, 3 steals, 1 block, 17 points, and a -1. Precious Achiuwa has been a great pickup, so far. He's becoming, fairly reliable in this moment of need. Now, like ideally in the playoffs, I think he can give us, really with the rotation, if Mitch is healthy and Ihart's there, I don't think Precious will need to play that much anyway. Tibbs is going to ride Josh Hart in the playoffs a lot. Could Precious give us 10 to 15 minutes in the playoffs if everyone was healthy? I think the Knicks would do that. I think they'll trust him as well. Right, realistically, if we're going to give up assets to get a guy who's marginally or similar to Precious, then I don't see the point in them doing that. Now they do seem to like a Daniel Gafford, a dude who's got a little bit more size, protects the rim better than Achua. But I think Precious Achua is kind of leading the clubhouse in terms of keeping the spot, because he's here, because Tibbs is seeing him, and he has that relationship yet already. So what do you guys think about Achua? Would you guys be okay if we just made a move with the backcourt and we keep our front court guys? I mean, Taj Gibson's first 10-day contract is gonna set to end soon, probably right around the trade deadline, and then they're gonna either give him a second 10-day, or I guess they can see who they can get. Don't underestimate the buyout market as well, because there are going to be guys that do shake loose. And we continue to hear around the league that the Knicks are really watched closely by these players now. We're the sexy destination now, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone want to come up and play with the Knicks, or they want to play around with the Knicks if you're LeBron James, etc. We're young, we're on the come up. We're attractive in terms of with the chemistry, the squad. We have likable dudes, established coach. I think there's going to be a heap of players and veterans that will definitely fancy playing on the Knicks, and making a run to try to dethrone the Celtics and the Bucks, man. I'm not even going to mention the Sixers anymore, because I don't think, as we now currently know, that Joel Embiid is going to be out indefinitely now, extended period of time. Yep. So we have another update, and it's a good one, ladies and gentlemen, courtesy of Fred Katz of The Athletic. Fred is tweeting that Jalen Brunson left the arena tonight walking out on his own, no crutches or anything like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we can breathe a sigh of relief. Jalen Brunson is walking out of the arena, no crutches, nothing like that, right? So, he's going to deal with probably the regular swelling. The ankle did twist, but I do know Brunson. He does strap his ankle heavily. So yeah, we see if he can play the next game. But at worst, it's just going to be day to day, man. But with the big man spot and Precious Achua, now with his play, his efforts, I'm gonna give Precious an A- for his play. Once again, continues to rebound well. Hit a 3 ball tonight. Man, if he could hit one of those or two a game consistently, that would be nice. To have a big man that could kind of space it out. And 40 minutes, that's another night where he's I guess reaping benefit from some of the injuries. But at some point he's probably going to need a break. As well, heading into the All-Star break is a great time. But 3 assists is solid, 3 steals, 17 points tonight. Precious Achua delivered, and he's definitely taken his chances, and I think it's well deserved. If we have Sims, who's still here, he's currently just ill. We have Taj. We have Hartenstein, who's healthy. We have a Mitch who looks like he's going to return at some point in the regular season. I don't think there's any need of getting another big, unless it's a difference-making big. Whether you categorize a Kelly Olynyk who can shoot it, whether you categorize him as a difference maker or Clint Capella. I get it. If there was more concern about Mitch or iHeart, maybe you could make a bigger case for for a move like that. But man, I think it's all about the backcourt. I think we know where the needs lie, and I do think that it's a case of get some ball handling help, man. Yeah, Michael's breathing that sigh of relief. Whoa. Let it out, fam. Let it out. Jalen Brunson is good, man. He's walking. No damage. Probably swelling. But yeah, a good sign. We'll take it. Will, man, we're about due for some good news. But yeah, this is a good lesson to learn from. Like the chat said, playing these teams at a kind of hustle, and they dive for loose balls and all of those things. Anything can happen, man. But let's be smarter about it late in the game. Play these guys off the bench, man. Right? If Evan Fournier stays, play him in these blowouts, man. Ryan Arcidiacono collecting checks from the Knicks. Let him play a little bit, These guys need to earn their keep as well. Nick Yak says, with 4 games left to the break, if we drop one, it's better than not being able to sign one or of the 3 we need to sign next year. Yeah, with the break coming up, it's at a great time, and I think we can definitely get some guys some rest. All the guys who aren't participating in the All-Star break, I think Isaiah Hartenstein has more than deserved his break. He's a free agent. He's going to want to continue this stretch and have a great end to the season, and no doubt be in the running to get a good extension. Savvy signing once again from DiVincenzo, Josh Hart. I include Hart because it's a 4-year deal that starts next year, but the salary cap is going to go up. So guys that are durable, they play hard, they produce. I don't think the fan base should be unhappy, should complain, because if you look around these other teams, the league, you see Charlotte, you see Houston, you see so many players kind of quit at some point, quit throughout the game, quit during the season. The Knicks don't have anybody like that, They leave it all out there. They play hard and they earn their money, right? Do they have an up and down game once in a while? They do, of course, like Hart against the Lakers, was hesitant, we know couldn't hit the shots. That's his weakness, unfortunately. But Hart, is going to continue to leave it all out there. He's on a 4-year deal as well. So he's here for the long haul. Strap yourself in, because Josh Hart is going to be around. And I think if we win a chip, as long as Brunson's here, we probably will see Devo and Hart on the squad. Now, speaking of Josh Hart, he is the final starter that we give the grade to. Now tonight, Josh was 37 minutes, 3 of 7, 1 of 2 from deep. Yeah, he did hit that 3, which was straight on. He didn't hesitate that time, so that was good. He got to the line 4 times, 3 buckets, 10 rebounds, another huge night, 4 assists, and 10 points with a team high plus 20. So a team high plus 20 with 10 points, right, in 37 minutes. So very, very solid game from Josh Hart, from coast to coast. And he definitely delivered in his minutes. Once again, doesn't cheat the game. He leaves it all out there as well. I do get frustrated a little bit with Hart, like I'm sure a lot of you do as well. But if you stack up all the good and bad games, there's going to be more good games than bad games. Now, the contract, as I said, I think the cap's going up. And Josh is a guy who as I've been saying, in the playoffs is going to really earn his keep, because he's a guy who impacts games in the playoffs. Like tonight, you see plus 20 in the plus minus. As it continues to to be a factor, right, in tight games as well. As I said, when you overplay him, that's when you can see some of those follies. But the best thing he's got to do is just to not hesitate, right? The basketball gods dictate if your teammate JB gets doubled and he kicks the rock to you, he trusts you. It's up to you. It's your job to put up the shot, right? If you're open, that's the basketball play. That's the correct play, right? If you put the ball on the floor late, let the defense switch, scramble, and reset, it hurts your team more than it does you taking the wide open shot. Hart is still a wing, a shooting guard wing, and he's capable of knocking down a three, right? He's not a good shooter, but he's not Rajon Rondo. He's not a Ricky Rubio. He's not Andre Drummond, right? So Hart, hopefully he learns, like after the Laker game, especially, that if Brunson trusts him and passes him the ball, because we're going to see more of it, Brunson will continue to get doubled in meaningful games, like we saw. Now, we do hope when that time comes that OG and Julius Randle and co are wearing their jerseys and they're on the court. But if they're not, and even if they are, the ball still might get swung to Josh Hart. Now, he's got to make a play, or he's got to attempt the shot first, I feel. That's the correct basketball play, to hit the shot. And like I said, once again, he's very capable of hitting the three. He just needs to trust it. If you're open, take it. And I think his teammates would have told him that. Obviously, the Miami Heat game 6 last year, Brunson looked at Hart, and then he made the decision, I'm going to, take on the defense. And that, that we know the history after that. But, basically there was a situation where, the Knicks would have learnt from that. And I think Hart should be ready, come the playoffs to fire up that shot and hopefully get the Knicks the win. So I've gone A- for Josh Hart. Salute. 007 Angelo with a super chat says, great work as always. F the Lakers. They suck. And F LeBron. Man, I got a lot of things to say on that, because the Laker game, right, last game was funny. LeBron coming in, using the Knicks. Things are a lot more clear to me now that kind of game's in the past, the hoopla. We're going for 10 straight, right? No OG, no Randall, Brunson going ham. And late in that game, right, after the post game, we did it live, Laker fans swarmed our chat talking about LeBron ain't coming, LeBron will never go to the Knicks, all of that. We don't trade a player like LeBron. And it was just funny because the Laker fans were talking like, they're in running to win a championship or something. Like, LeBron's 39. I really couldn't care less if LeBron doesn't come to the Knicks, right? He's 39, right? The next couple of years in the league, and that's it, right? And he's not the number one option anymore. We have a number one option. So Laker fans were talking like, trying to protect him and feeling threatened and all of that. It was funny, And secondly, LeBron ain't coming, right? He continues to use the Knicks, situations to his advantage, exactly like Giannis Antetokounmpo did before they traded for Dame, right? These guys, they continue to use the Knicks, and I'm not falling for it because we don't need them, right? Remember, but right before, the Bucks signed Giannis, the Bucks traded for Dame, there was all sorts of rumors that the Knicks were going to trade for Giannis's brother, Thanasis, and then he had that big spiel at the post game where Giannis was like, "Oh yeah, I've really got to consider my future out there," and everybody started panicking and linking the man to the Knicks. And then what happened? They traded for Dame, and he extended like within a couple of days. Giannis committed his future to the Bucks. Now they ain't doing so good, are they? You know, they ain't sitting pretty. Now the New York Knicks are the in thing, you know, and now everyone want to maybe reconsider their bad decisions. You know, KD out there struggling with the Phoenix Suns. LeBron trying to, you know, hold his team to ransom. You know, trying to get them to make some moves. Right, they're stuck in purgatory right now, and the Knicks are doing well. Right, with our young number one option, we have an average age of something like 27, 20, 25 maybe even, with Brunson just 27. We don't need these old heads, man, trying to come back into the fold and flirt with the Knicks again. Yeah, like you said, they can F off. As we do a score check, the Bucks are currently up by 4 over the Suns. That's a tight game though, heading into the halftime break. So if the Bucks lose tonight after our win, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to peep the standings. We will be either tied. We'll be tied third, and a game, half a game from second. Right, but yeah, once again, 007 Angelo, appreciate you, and I hear you on that. Keep it buzzing. Now that was the starting unit. Right, we pulled off this win. We got some good news about Jalen Brunson. He's walking without crutches, without any assistance. Maybe we dodged a bullet. Looks like we dodged a bullet tonight. Now, now the next game coming up is, as we look at the schedule, we play Dallas on Thursday night. Luka Doncic, big win tonight. They're playing well. That's going to be a tough game. And then Indiana on Saturday. So that's going to be a situation where we're going to need, you know, hopefully a guy or two to come back. Ideally, you know, to win those games comfortably. Now we can beat anybody still, as we showed with the Utah game, the Indiana game. But yeah, Indiana's going to want revenge, man. But first, the Dallas Mavericks. So, but the good sign is 4 games left, and then the All-Star break, right? I'm not worried about OG kind of not getting back. I'm worried about more, long term. But I do think OG is a chance to be back before All-Star. But depending on the severity, depending on how we're doing, it might be wise to just continue to sit OG all the way to after the All-Star break. What do you guys think? I'd love to get your thoughts. With 4 games left, right, and I know the frustrations about OG missing, but if we're going to go 2-2 over the next 4 or 1-3 at worst, is it worth even getting OG back, right? I guess it just depends on how severe it is, because, you know, they're not really disclosing anything else other than what we know. You know, it's inflamed and it's day to day, you know, but obviously there's some soreness there, you know, otherwise they would bring him back. Now, let's hit on the bench as we continue buzzing, right? No Grimes tonight, no Sims. We had Taj time, and we had Deuce McBride getting loose. So let's start with the Deuce. Right, continues to show maturity, you know, talk about and development. The Deuce McBride we're seeing is a much better player than the Deuce McBride the year before that. So I salute, you know, to Deuce for stepping up. Another player, another Knicks hero that's been, you know, improving game to game before our eyes. You know, the shooting tonight was some nice mid-range action. You know, did create a little bit too with the crossover, you know, crossed his man up, and you know, is flashing more to his game, and that's the important thing. You know, the Knicks knew there's a lot in Deuce. They gave him the extension. You know, as soon as Quickly got traded, you know, a great contract, 3 years, 13 milli, two-way player. A guy that will play hard again, another Tibbs guy. He'll leave it all out there for you. Just one of my favourite players, really. I love watching Deuce. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't want the Knicks to get an upgrade. I'm real about it. I think Deuce is a year or maybe another year away from, permanently owning the backup spot, and then filling in for Brunson when he's out. But realistically, I've got championship aspirations, and as I know many fans are too. Our expectations have changed as the season has gone along, because the Knicks are for real right now. We're seeing what guys are capable of doing. DiVincenzo has exceeded expectations. Jalen Brunson is either living up to expectations or exceeding them for some people. I think Randall has come back, has had a better season as well. You factor in the OG move, Precious coming in now, and then you got guys like Hart, McBride, and Grimes. I think the Knicks, we're no far off, the Boston Celtics, Bucks, anybody, any name you throw out there. I think this East this year is wide open, and I think it might dictate what Leon Rose, does at the trade period. But I think Deuce will be central to that. And tonight Deuce was he was 5 of 14, had a little more volume, 2 of 6 from 3. He racked up 3 assists, 3 boards, a steal, and 12 points, and a 0 in the plus minus. But he played 31 minutes as well. So that's by far some of the biggest minutes, Deuce has played in a long time. 2 of 6 from deep is decent. The 3-point shot, has been the best thing to come from Deuce. He's been growing. He's definitely a guy who's stepped up his game. Like I said, continues to take opportunity from the backup spot. And I'm going to give Deuce a B, for his grade tonight. Now, even if we bring someone in, I still think Deuce will factor into the rotation. And I say someone, I'm going to say Murray. Even if we bring in a Murray or a Brogdon, I think there's still minutes there for Deuce. Obviously, they'll get cut a little bit, and in the playoffs, he might not play much at all. But that goes back to the point I said earlier. I want us to go into the playoffs with reinforcements, not limp over the line and be bare bones. Once again, all it takes, as we saw tonight, is one innocuous Jalen Brunson ankle roll, and then we're forced to play Deuce McBride as the starting point guard, against if you've gone up against anyone, the Cavs, Indy, the Bucks, the Celtics, the Heat, right? It don't matter who the matchup is. I don't really feel confident, in the playoffs. Now, would Deuce step the hell up? Would I have confidence that he will play up to his maximum capabilities? I do. I think he's a big time kind of player. He can step up more, but it's a little far. It's a bridge a little far to cross. The trade deadline's coming. Teams like Philly, all these teams are going to be looking to make noise. And I think there's a chance there for us to do something great, right? Luke says, on Deuce, have you noticed Deuce's floater game? He's definitely learning from Brunny. Yeah, it really is that nice high arc, like Luke says. He gets either foul line extended. He could really, his mid-range has also improved a lot too. Nick Yak says Randall will miss a couple more games and then they can't double Brunson like that without paying the price. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And that's why I said there's a couple of different options for the Knicks. There's one trade and then there's maybe a buyout guy. If we were able to trade for a Murray or a Brogdon and then get Gordon Hayward from a buyout or Kyle Lowry, at least players that you can't cheat off for the 3-point line, more shooting, it will be even stronger. Best believe that. Too. As Buzzer Beater says, Mike and Clyde together for more than most marriages. You said it, man. It's literally a thing of beauty, and we're lucky to have those guys, no doubt. And I'm somebody who has league pass, so I have to listen to a lot of, as I watch other teams. There's no one like those two, man. There's nobody like Mike and Clyde. What's as the broadcast was talking about tonight, what's your favorite Clydeism? What is some of your favorite Clydeisms? There's so many to name, but we saw tonight one that had me laughing in tears, man. When they were talking about that little point guard on Memphis, I forget his name. Excuse me, but yeah, the first quarter, I think the 5'8" point guard, and Clyde comes out with the Lilliputian. Some of these words that I learnt personally from listening to Clyde. He's not only has he entertained me over the years, he's educated me as well. And that's just a thing of beauty, being educated, watching, the team you love, and being entertained in the same time. And also Mike Breen, always brings the stats and the facts, always gets us hyped. He's a legend. I mean, the man speaks for himself. We have two Hall of Famers. We have had two Hall of Famers call the New York Knicks games for over 2 decades. And it's just been so lucky, thinking about it. Unfortunately, the play, the good play on the court hasn't always mirrored, the good times. But, I can't wait for what's next, man. I hope these guys continue for another 5 years and more. But yeah, 25 years salute to those guys as well, always looking sharp as well, and just being great ambassadors for the team. We continue, and seeing this team and the success that we're about to have, right? Now, the next man up, after Deuce McBride, there wasn't many bench players tonight, man. It was a 8-man rotation with 3 guys off the bench, man. So Deuce got loose a little bit. Next, I'm going to hit on Malachi Flynn, right? And then we'll hit on Taj. Malachi Flynn was 2 of 4, 2 of 3 from deep, which was impressive. 66%, plus 15 in his 11 minutes, 6 points. So he's feeling more comfortable, is what it is, going up against, the bench guys, the short-handed Memphis hustle, right? And yeah, he's a guy who, has promising skills. Now, it's a bit of an unknown quantity because, he hasn't played enough. He was kind of interrupted in the Raptors, in and out of the rotation. I think he did deal with some injuries as well. But yeah, he had a pretty solid rookie year, Malachi Flynn. I've seen him do some really good things on the basketball court. And I think, he's definitely a fine third string point guard, the backup to the backup. However, we simply just need to strengthen the backup in terms of scoring, creation as well. I guess the thing, Malachi, the knock on him, I guess, for me is the size as well. Now, Deuce McBride is a far more, stronger point guard, capable of defending bigger guys. Malachi Flynn has a nice touch. He's got a jump shot. But yeah, he ain't it, really. If we're keeping it real, he ain't it. He can do some things. But yeah, he's okay as the backup to the backup. Now, I don't think he'll be in any kind of trade. If we need a throw in, maybe. I think he's still worth. He's a guy coming in with some familiarity now. I think it's worth just keeping him around. Again, you never know. He's a guy like tonight. He can come in for 10 minutes, hit a couple shots. As we saw, he can hit the 3, 2 of 6. For tonight. So he can do some things on the court. in very, very, very limited sample size, I'm going to give Malachi Flynn a B. He hit his shots tonight. Really, he got a chance, and he hit his shots. But yeah, he's not going to set the world alight as well. But at the same time, if you're trying to get a backup to the backup, who else are you going to get? At this point, right? You ain't going to play Archie ahead of him. If Fournier, wasn't a trade candidate, he'd probably play a little bit more. But yeah, Tibbs seems to be fine, reaching for the bench for Malachi Flynn. And I think, obviously the closer we get to the playoffs, and in the playoffs, he's not going to sniff the court unless it's a blowout, right? We know Tibbs is going to shrink this rotation down even further, fam. As we're running 8 guys out there, even we're short-handed. Once again, Fournier's not going to play, right? He's probably not going to be a Knick after 2 more days. Now, Charlie Brown, Jacob Toppin, I think if this was a blowout earlier, those guys would have got in tonight, and probably should have got in. Realistically, we should have taken care of business sooner. Or Tibbs could have just had more other guys out there and taken Brunson out. I think you need to learn valuable lessons. Unfortunately, some wise people keep telling us, and this ain't just Knicks fans that say this. We talk to neutralists, we talk to NBA media. When you mention the word Tom Thibodeau, usually the first thing people say is, they say a couple good things. They'll say, oh yeah, hard-nosed coach. He knows how to coach D. He gets guys up for it. Great regular season coach. But they usually say, and the next thing they usually say is, but he's got to get guys out of there. Or he treats the regular season like it's it. And none of those things are lies, It is what it is, It gets us in a great position. 15 games over. Unfortunately, he gets guys to buy in so much that they're hustling their A off, and that, you are going to get dinged up. You're going to maybe pick up a few more injuries, 8-man rotation. I mean, we're close to the finish line, and all I want is for us to get to the playoffs healthy, right? I want these guys healthy, right? Because I think the East now is wide open, right? We've been doing this for a minute, and I think this is our best shot at getting to the NBA Finals since 1999, ladies and gentlemen. That was 24 years ago, 25 years ago, right? And some of us weren't even born yet then. So it's been time, for us to to get back to where we need to get to. Leon Rose, do your thing. I think we're a couple pieces, maybe a piece or 2 short. If you can aim for the stars and get a Murray. The thing is, it might come down to Grimes and 2 firsts. Maybe they don't get a deal where they can get 3 firsts, and the Knicks is the next best offer. Maybe they call Leon Rose late in the deadline and say, hey, we can do this deal. Grimes, 2 firsts, and we can do it. Does Leon Rose, does he wilt, and just get it done? I'm excited. We'll wait and see. We get guys back as well. I'm very, very optimistic Randall is going to be back, at some point past the All-Star break. And at least the best thing is now Randall is resting his legs. I guess I'm a guy who's a glass half full, and I try to look at, some other positives. Randall's shoulder is injured, but he's nothing wrong with his legs. And by the time he eventually hits the court, it's going to be 3-4 weeks, maybe since running the physical action of the basketball game. So that's going to maybe get him fresh, for a deep playoff run. But what do you guys think about that as well, man? I see you chat buzzing, smashing that like button. As the New York Knicks now, we are 15 games over 500. Great stuff. We have Dallas and Indiana coming into MSG as the homestand, continues. And quite frankly, we couldn't have been in a better spot with what we're doing. And I think it's going to continue as we get guys healthy and we continue to make noise, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to hit on Taj Gibson in a minute. But yeah, once again, make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe to our channel. We've got some guests lined up, right? So as I go through the schedule, I'm going to bring that up. Yep. So we got Bill Pedo, MSG Networks, coming onto the show. We were going to talk to Bill tomorrow morning, but we've rescheduled for Friday. Now, quite obvious why we did that. We got Bill in on Friday morning. We'll talk to Bill. We'll upload that spot just by lunchtime. We'll know the trade talk. We'll know what's happened, and it'll be great. We'll be able to talk about it. See, we won't know much tomorrow, so yeah, it'll be better to talk to Bill after the trade deadline. Then we're hitting the All-Star break, and some familiar faces will come through. We'll talk to Mark Berman, formerly the New York Post, right? Mark's definitely going to give his opinion on where we're at, how the trade, OG trade has looked. Has he backtracked on his initial thoughts on the trade? He was high on the trade in terms of long term, but he thought the Knicks might struggle a bit more in the current without RJ, without Quickly. But yeah, he's been wrong on that one, with the Knicks absolutely clicking into gear with that situation. So yeah, we've got more guests lined up as well. But yeah, the All-Star break's going to be fun. Have a little bit of a break from the action, from the Knicks action. But we've got 4 more games till then. Now we're going to hit on Taj Gibson, because Taj got some burn tonight. And I think, with Precious and him, and guys who Tibbs trusts, I think we might not get a big man. So he's on a 10-day contract, which I think is going to end in a couple of days, but then they can easily just give him a second 10-day, depending on what happens, with the trade talk. Either way, I could see Taj hanging around. He's that, Udonis Haslem type mentor for the Knicks in this situation. We do have that open roster spot, though. If there's a suitable buyout dude, they might, be faced to make a decision. Do they waive another dude? I think Archie Diacono will probably stay because he's Brunson's guy. They might buy out Malachi Flynn. Let's say they bring in a DeJounte, a Malcolm Brogdon, or Alec Burks. I could see them just letting Malachi Flynn go and keeping Taj instead of him, in that spot. But yeah, Taj was 0 of 1, but got to the line twice. He threw up a corner 3 early in his game. Tonight he bricked that one, but he was 1 assist and 1 rebound, 2 points -2. It's Taj time, man. Stepping in, trusty Taj. Whenever we need help, we dial 1-800-TAJ, 1-300 Taj to come in, and give us some minutes as well. So yeah, I think Taj might stick around until the end of the season, right? It helps, just having another a veteran throughout, the playoff experience. And he's going to offer some wisdom, and I think he's probably going to be a future assistant coach, with the Tibbs, probably starting from next season. But yeah, when it comes to, if we do have enough backcourt help, if it comes to Malachi Flynn or Taj, they might, look to keep Taj, or they might, it might surprise me. They might keep Malachi, just for some backcourt help. But yeah, that's post-trade deadline. We'll see. The reason they waived him initially is because to keep that roster spot open to see if there is a trade buyout, a trade or a buyout candidate coming in. So I think that'll dictate what happens with that final roster spot. With Taj, of course, we traded 2 guys in Quickly and RJ, and we got 3 guys back. Yeah, as well. So either Precious is definitely going to stay, but yeah, I think either Malachi or Taj might keep that final roster spot, fam. But yeah, this leads us to talk about the trade period coming up. What do you guys expect? I'll give you my expectations. Who would I like to get? As we look ahead now, we've got 4 more games to the end of the All-Star break. But, of course, we know the deadline, man, is going to hit on Thursday like a storm, man. Luke says C for the OG, right? Buzzer Beater says this is his second 10-day. Okay, if that is, maybe I missed it, and it just ticked over as well. But yeah, after the second 10-day, they've got a decision to make on Taj. But yeah, fortunately, the trade deadline will have passed, and they can decide accordingly. But Luke C says Middleton out, will not return. That's interesting, man. As we do a score check, the Bucks are down now. Yes, sir. Let's get it. That's great news for the New York Knicks, and we will look at that. I'll bring up the East standings, and we can peek where the New York Knicks are at. Now with this win, now that we got the news that Brunson is okay, and we can breathe that sigh of relief, man. So I'm going to bring up that right now. We've got the league pass up. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. As we got the Bucks currently down to the Phoenix Suns, 51-55. There we go. We had the Pacers pick up a win, and then the Knicks, and then the Heat, which was I went back and forth over who should be beneficial for the Knicks to win tonight out of the Magic and the Heat. It was actually better that the Heat won. As tough as it is to want the Heat to win, they are both locked at 27 and 24 now. So the Heat were behind the Magic by a game. So not that I think either team will catch us, but it's still better to be safe. So the Heat winning was great for the Knicks as well. A Magic pick up another loss. The Mavericks come into the MSG after beating the New Jersey Nets. And then the Bulls picked up a big win, right? Maybe those guys are trying to make a case to not get traded. Alex Caruso on the block. He's a guy who I think will definitely garner a lot of interest. A great two-way player. Kobe White's been playing really well. The Utah Jazz, another situation where guys are trying to play hard before a looming trade period situation. So that's huge. Yep. And I'm about to talk about the Cavs too. Like Buzzer Beater says, Cavs are taking advantage of our situation. So what I did was I went ahead and looked at the Cavs schedule coming up. Unfortunately for us, the Cavs road to the end of the season is very, very easy. Very, very light schedule. So the Cavs are going to continue winning. I'm here to tell you, right? If you have hopes that the Cavs will go on a huge losing streak, I think you should check their schedule because they've got a lot of easy games. You know, they continue to play the Wiz, they'll play Chicago, they'll play the Spurs, they'll play Charlotte, they'll play a couple of West teams, but they continue to get easier matchups. They must, along the way, they must have done really well to beat some good teams. But I tip my cap to them. We can't really rely on other teams to lose. We just need to keep winning. You know, we just need to keep handling our business, and I think we'll be fine. Obviously, health is going to be really key. Now, we look at the East. So the New York Knicks, 33-18, and the Bucks currently in action. If they were to lose, we'd be same record as the Milwaukee Bucks, ladies and gentlemen, in the 3rd spot. Or, yeah, they would have the tiebreaker on us. We've beaten the Bucks once. They've beaten us twice or 3 times already. But we've beaten them once on Christmas Day. However, that's still significant because, yeah, for the Milwaukee Bucks with Dame, like Buzzer says, like Luke says, with Middleton being up and down and old, aging, I think, yeah, the Knicks have got the Bucks measure if we're fully healthy. So that's a great sign. And then, yeah, the Cavs. I mean, we are just half a game back of the Cavs, but they have 3 games in hand, right? So if they were to lose all 3, we would be tied for 2nd. But as I said, I went and looked at the Cavs' upcoming schedule, and they've got a very, very pretty simple road to the end of the season. So now they're getting healthy. Donovan Mitchell is an all-star. Garland's back. Jarrett Allen's been playing better. Evan Mobley's back. Right. Yeah. I just want us to continue handling our business. We'll see what happens. But yeah, realistically, if we can get 3rd, that's a great season. Right. If the Cavs end up finishing 2nd, I ain't sweating it. Right. I tip my cap to them because, yeah, they have exceeded expectations for me. You know, and they deserve to be where they're at. I just think they're going to continue winning. I did look at the schedule again, and I don't see any letdowns. Right, if they've been getting through till now, I think they're only going to get better. As you see, you know, they're in 2nd seed, and to nobody's surprise, they shouldn't be under anybody's coming under the radar. You know, for anybody, you know, they've got some good talent, and you know they're playing better than they were last year. Now in the playoffs, I'm still super confident. But yeah, the Bucks, that's a huge story in its own. The Philly 76ers, they are 2 games back now with a Joel Embiid injury to think about. This is the Sixers' year to go down, man, and slide. They might just take a year break, fam. So that's something to watch. For the Knicks, it's all the way up, baby. It's just all about health and getting healthy, you know, and continuing to take care of our business. I'll give us a prediction before we talk about a bit about the trades. With Dallas, Indy, Houston, and Orlando, I don't really care which game which. Just split the next 4, and that's on the proviso that no guys return. Now, if OG returns, that'll be great. You know, we could probably go 3-1, 4 and zip. If nobody returns, or even if Brunson has to miss a game, sign me up for 2-2, and we head to the All-Star break, 15 games over, within striking range of the 2nd, 3rd seed. Right, so it's been a great run to this point. Guys have stepped up, right? You know, and there's a great chance we get everybody back healthy for the playoffs, including Mitch. Yeah, we've got some multiple MVP candidates. Spider is definitely one of them, man. Possible future Nick. I think he's definitely going to be on the radar of the New York Knicks, which is why I said, you know, leading up to this trade deadline, I don't expect anything crazy. DeJounte Murray possibility, I'm going to put at a 30% chance, but 50 to 60, 70%, it's more likely of going to be a Bruce Brown financially, because it makes sense to swap Fournier for a guy that Tibbs will actually play. Now, he doesn't address all the skill set that we need. I completely acknowledge, understand that. People do say, Bruce Brown, we don't need him. Is it a little bit redundant? Again, for a couple of reasons, financially it makes sense for the Knicks. The second thing is another body who can play defense. He can handle the ball a little bit. Now, he can't shoot very well, but he's playoff experienced. If it's just Fournier and one of those poorly protected picks to get that deal done, I still think it makes sense because you have a little bit more depth. Again, you don't really know OG's, tendency to miss a few games possibility. And then, a Burks, maybe a buyout candidate, something along those lines. Murray, though, and Brogdon would be the dream, for me. But I think those guys might take a few more picks to get. Well, Murray definitely will. Brogdon might take a good pick, and Grimes, to get that deal done. But that's, I'll be really happy if the Knicks could do that. Now, I think off season, everything's on the table, man. Everything. Talking about Spider, talking about another disgruntled, player, maybe that didn't do as well in the playoffs as they hoped. We've seen LeBron seriously question his future as well. Wouldn't put it past Kevin Durant to request another trade. You just never know in the NBA. I think that's what Leon Rose knows. He's been around the NBA long enough, to know that every off season is gonna, spring up, something. So what I want the Knicks to do is to make some moves, get some reinforcements, but it's not going to be, it's not going to be a huge piece. I don't feel. There's still a small chance we do get a Murray or a Brogdon, and we'll be live right at the trade deadline as well, ready to chop that up. That'll be right before the Dallas game, I believe. The trade deadline is usually 6 p.m. Is that usually 6 p.m. Eastern? So that'll be very, very interesting right before the Dallas game. Right, if some guys do get traded, we might be even more short-handed. LB says, in the off-season, I think Spider will be our first option, and then Mikal Bridges will be second, unless there's somebody else that goes hit in free agency. I hope Karl Anthony Towns is also not included in that. Donovan Mitchell, I would love to see him, come in, and I think, Cleveland's really their 11th hour is right now. I think, Cleveland have to make the most of this season, and this is going to be their best chance to convince Spider to stay. But even then, even if they were to really go, let's say, to the Eastern Conference Finals, I don't think that's still enough for Spider to just say, I'm going to extend. Right? I think he's still going to go all the way to the unrestricted free agency, not this summer, but the following summer, if the Cavs refuse to trade him. But that would be foolish, right? Would you really risk your best asset going all the way to the summer unrestricted free agency where he can just leave you for nothing, like LeBron just left the Cavs high and dry? And I think the owner, Dan Gilbert, said, I'm never putting our organization in that situation ever again. So they'll continue to be a hot topic. Another guest we'll have on is Joe Varden of The Athletic in the Cleveland market, right? He's close to home. He lives in Ohio, covers that team as well, and he covers Team USA nationally. He's heard from Jordan Clarkson as well that he fancies a move to New York and come to the Knicks. That'll be a great conversation to have with Joe at the All-Star break as well. We're going to have Joe Vardon again on to talk about that situation. I want to hear his thoughts about Cleveland, and to see, because they are a real surprise story, for this season as well. But yeah, I don't see anything changing with Spider Mitchell, in that situation. They can convince him and go all in this year. Otherwise, they're just running the gauntlet if they don't trade him this coming summer. Now, Brooklyn. There's a reason Brooklyn want to keep Mikal Bridges. He's not going to get traded this week. Mikal Bridges is there to plant the seed and hopefully tempt what they hope is going to tempt a star, to want to come and play alongside Mikal Bridges. Now the thing is, a lot of Knicks fans want the Knicks to pry Mikal Bridges out of Brooklyn, but I hate to pour cold water on that, but that's never happening. The Nets are never trading Mikal Bridges to the New York Knicks. Never on 100 years, right? There's already reports that they've been offered 5 first-round picks from another team, and they still never did that. So I don't see that happening. Maybe one day in the future if Mikal becomes, a free agent. But going back to Spider Mitchell, the Knicks are going to be, vying with the Nets for Donovan Mitchell, right? If he wants to come to just New York, obviously the Knicks, are a better team, and it will have the upper hand, I think, as well. But yeah, the Nets will be a team, trying to pry him away. Buzz is saying, asking how do I feel about Tyus Jones? Really, really solid pickup. Another name that I think would do really well for the Knicks this deadline. There's reports maybe 2 seconds might be enough to get that done. I think as we see the Wiz, their priorities will be to lose as many games as possible. There might even be a shot to win the worst record in the East. The Pistons are just 3 games back. So yeah, I think Gafford could be had for cheap. Tyus Jones, solid. I'm not sure how it's going to work financially for the Knicks, but unfortunately we haven't heard as much buzz about Tyus Jones. I actually think he's a better pickup, a better fit than some of these other names like Clarkson and Sexton. I think I would put Tyus Jones ahead because I think he's a better fit in terms of running the point, and he can play alongside Deuce. Deuce's shooting has come a long way. What do you think about T Jones? Nick Yak says we're using extra days to reach the break for our injured players to get extra rest. Randall and OG will be back, probably Grimes too, and Mitch right after. That looks like the plan. Certainly, I think Grimes will return OG maybe before then. And then, Randall and Mitch shortly after as well. Luke says, I think Murray is a better fit. He's a two-way player and Spider with no D. No bueno. Not a Thibs guy. I think, I hadn't considered, Tibbs in this all. I think Tibbs has a say to some degree, but I also don't think Tibbs is going to have the final say, and I think, according to Leon Rose, CAA and James Dolan, I think Spider Mitchell is box office, right? DeJounte Murray's box office, and I think the Knicks will still be trying to get him. Right? I don't think it's a case of the Knicks will just refuse to try to get DeJounte Murray. I think they will try, but I think, there's a lot things at play. There's other teams talking. There's the whole summer that the Knicks are looking at, And I do think Donovan Mitchell is still the warmest target for Leon. I think, look at the Cavs, right? They're second seed, and they have less kind of help than us. And they have a small guard in DG. I think Garland and Spider have been working quite decent. I mean, they finished in the 4th seed last season. I think you pair Donovan Mitchell with Jalen Brunson. There might be defensive issues, but I think winning would still happen. I still think there'll be winning, a lot of scoring. Maybe you can, stagger lineups. You could put, OG out there to guard, the best perimeter player as well, and then Spider, you can kind of guard off the ball a bit as well. But offensively, it's going to be a nightmare for any other team to stop. You got DiVincenzo, OG, and Randall's floor spacing, with Brunson and Mitchell out there, and their dribble drive penetration, their deep 3-point shooting. Good luck doubling. You're right. Like we saw against the Lakers, there's nobody that's going to be stopping us offensively. We'll be like the Indiana Pacers putting up 150, I think. But I do feel you on Murray being a good fit as well. And obviously all things are on the table. Now Leon Rose met with Clutch, and kind of buried the hatchet, with Rich Paul. So that's good news. Really, the Knicks are open for business, really. Everyone want to come here to us, LeBron, etc. Maybe people regretting not coming to us, and it's all because of, a lot because of these guys we have on the court, giving it their all, out there hustling, muscling, and doing whatever it takes, right, to get this organization back up, right? And I think right at the top of the list, obviously, is this man, JB, right? Helped elevate our franchise to another level. And salute to Julius, Julius and Tibbs, that got, and Taj and D Rose, and that got us to the one level up, or a couple of levels up after the Fizdale fiasco. When Phil left, we were basically, rock bottom. Fizdale left, Tibbs come in, and then we got, we flamed out on Kevin Durant, Kyrie, but Julius Randle came in. We lost Kristaps. We turned the salary cap money from Kristaps into Mook Morris, Bobby Portis, Taj, Elfrid Payton, Alec Burks. Then we turned Mook Morris into the draft pick that turned into Emmanuel Quickley. We signed Brunson. We lost D Rose. We flipped a couple of seconds. And then we obviously made the splash for OG, trading Quickley, who we got in a draft pick for Mook Morris with salary cap space. So it's been quite the upgrade. It's been layer upon layer, to get to this point where we're a sexy destination now, heading into possibly the second seed in the East and a real contender status, right? As we pull up the score to see what's happening with the Bucks, right? And the Bucks are currently down, as you see, right as the third quarter is about to end. The Phoenix Suns desperately need to pick up this win, 71-73. The Pacemakers picked up a big win as well over the Rockets. But I think the top six is kind of settled now. I do think it's a case of the 6 to 10 is going to jockey. I think the Raptors have really let slip a chance to make the 10th spot. We got the Atlanta Hawks in 10, and then you've got the Chicago Bulls still there. That might factor into not making any trades. Maybe DeRozan can stay. Buzzer says, who is competing with Leon Rose for executive? Not many. Not many comes to my mind right now. In terms of executive, I would say, Sam Presti is probably always going to come up. That's going to be hard to beat. Talk about the Thunder. They could be the story of the season, realistically, being, the number one seed out west. But I guess nothing that he really did recently. I mean, Chet Holmgren got back healthy. I mean, the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander deal with PG-13, that's working out for the Clippers now, I guess short term, but long term, that could be one of the best transactions, or is popular among people's opinion, is the best transaction, you know, in NBA history, in terms of like assets, you know, talk about getting SGA, an MVP candidate, with pick control for the next like 10 years. Man, that was a fleecing and a half, man. Absolute fleecing out there. So yeah, I can think of Sam Presti, maybe the Minnesota executive gets some shine. You know, they got to keep Naz Reid. They did Jaden McDaniels. They got Ant-Man. The Rudy Gobert thing. You know, they're doing okay as well. I can't think of too many more, man. I think Leon Rose, I mean, to get us to where we are, right, he's struck gold with a lot of them. So in terms of the team stats right now, I can pull them up for the next game. I don't have them on hand right now, but if there's anything specific you want me to check, yeah, I'll put it in the comment section. I'll check it now or after the show, if there's something specific. But the general team stats, I haven't refreshed them recently, just with all the injury things. You know, I want to judge what the team was doing, you know, at full strength, you know, with OG and that as well. Our guy Bill Daughtry, we haven't got anything scheduled yet with Bill, but we'll probably talk to Bill around the All-Star break, somewhere around there as well. And there's a lot more to come, right? As we wait to see the Phoenix Suns. It looks like they're going to pull ahead a little bit and maybe close that one out, right? It's been a up and down night, but it ends on a very good note with the Brunson news, right? So we breathe a sigh of relief. Brunson either should be ready for the next game, maybe the one after that. We need to keep winning, so they're not going to shut Brunson down till the All-Star break if he's good to go. But the news will be, no doubt about it, the trades, ladies and gentlemen. What is going to happen at the trade deadline? I think there's going to be multiple things happen. The Knicks will be in discussions with some of the higher rated, you know, talent in terms of shot creation, scoring abilities. But realistically, there's going to be a whole heap of activity. So it's hard to put your finger on like, what's going to happen exactly. But the Knicks will get somebody. My early prediction is we do get Alec Burks. I think the Knicks can make that happen. And I think there's a really good chance we can get Bruce Brown as well in separate transactions. Right? I think Alec Burks addresses some handling, some scoring, and Bruce Brown kind of kills a couple of birds with one stone, right? You free Evan Fournier, you bring in a Tibbs player who can defend, can fill in undersized, you know, you can push Hart to the 4. Bruce Brown can fill in for OG as well, and I think we'll keep Quentin Grimes as well, so that could be a huge factor later in the season. I think more help, more bodies, you know, available, right? But with that said, I think the Knicks are on track, mate. We're on track to, you know, to finish the season strong, you know, and to get a really high seed as well. And Bill was very high on the OG trade, so yeah, you might have missed the recent show. Bill's very optimistic about our current season. He was not as optimistic pre-season with just Devo as the upgrade. But yeah, after the OG trade, he thinks we're the second best team in the East. So yeah, you might have missed the recent show. But yeah, Bill will be back, and we're buzzing. See you on the next one. Peace.